questions that recruited a team of 40,000 people. 2 questions that will get people to literally recruit themselves. They'll tell you everything you need to say, everything you need to do to bring them on board effortlessly. No objections. No, I want to think about it. No, that's interesting. No, let me talk to some other people. Like, how do I start? What's the next step? If the question that you're getting most at the end of a 10-minute recruiting presentation, and that presentation should be 10 minutes maximum. If you're talking more than 10 minutes, you are missing this boat. If the number one question you're getting is not, how do we start? You're doing this wrong. You're doing this wrong. Recruiting is easy. It's fun. And everybody wants what you have. Okay, listen, when it comes to recruiting, there's 2 sides. There's art and there's science. There's mindset and there's skill set. There's belief system and there's process. Okay. And so guys, look, there's a QR code down here. August 6th, I am teaching a free 1-hour recruiting clinic where we're going to go through the art and the science, what to say, when to say it, how to say it, what drives people to join. We're going to be talking about all that. But today I want to give you a freebie. So what I learned in recruiting almost 40,000 people was there was a couple of questions that I could ask people in the first minute or 2 minutes together that would literally get them to recruit themselves. They would tell me everything I needed to know about whether or not these people were recruitable and exactly what I needed to say to be able to recruit them. And it wasn't, tell me about yourself. It wasn't, where are you from? It wasn't, what are you doing now? It wasn't any of those things, okay? It was part of a process I call FORM, family, occupation, recreation, motivation. Just a minute or 2 minutes at the very beginning, getting to know a little bit about that prospect. But embedded in FORM were 2 questions that would highlight pain points. Listen, okay, people have a threshold of action that you have to get over before they do something. So when you're presenting a lot, the mistake that most recruiters make is they present a lot of information. And that information might be very interesting, but then people say that to them, well, that's interesting, okay? And they don't have they're not compelled to action. And they're not compelled to action because we haven't met that threshold to overcome the inaction. There's got to be a substantial prospect of gain or a substantial relief of pain before people will move from doing nothing to doing something. So what these questions do is these questions create delta. They create distance between where people are living now and where they want to live. And most people who do not join you when you try to recruit them, they are not experiencing that delta. They have numbed themselves down to the fact that their life is not the life that they dreamed of, but they're not thinking about that right now. They've just sort of settled in and they're doing their time and life is okay. And so what these questions are designed to do is it's designed to expose the nightmare so you can sell the dream. See, many of you are selling a dream to people who are not dreaming. You are selling a dream to people who do not realize they're living a nightmare. And so they have no need for your dream. And so they say things like, well, that's interesting. Let me think about it. Can you send me some information? But when you expose the nightmare that they're really living, when you can put in their face that life is not everything you hoped it would be, life is not magically getting better. In fact, you're spending a lot of time away from the people you love for not enough money and no way out. That does not sound amazing. In fact, you probably dislike it. You probably dislike the drive. You probably dislike the people. You probably dislike the pay. And you're probably not doing anything of real significance with your life. That is gross. But most people are not thinking about that every day. If they thought about that every day, they'd have a real hard time getting up and going to work. And so what do? They dumb that down. They numb that on the inside of them. And when they meet you, they're dead on the inside. And you're trying to breathe life into them and wondering why it doesn't work. So these series of questions, if you ask them right up front, it's going to change everything. So here's question number 1. You ready? Mr. or Mrs. Prospect, what do you love about what you do now? What do you love about what you do now? You know what most people are going to say? Nothing. Okay. But then they're going to come up with something that they enjoy. Well, I enjoy the people. I enjoy making a difference. I enjoy working from home. And here's what they're telling you. Here's the pieces of this I like. We need to make our opportunity aligned with the things they like about their current opportunity. In other words, we need to show them that what we're pitching to them is similar in that way to what they like, okay? Here's the follow-up question. This is question 1B. So what do you love about what you're doing now? Okay, fantastic, great. What would you change about it if you could? What would you change about it if you could? Most of the time, they're going to voice complaints about not making enough money, not controlling their time. They don't like the commute. They don't like the people. They're not making a difference. Okay. And so we want them to talk here. What they're doing is they're beginning to tell us, here are my motivators. Here are the things I do not like about where I am. So if we can make the opportunity we're presenting in alignment with what they do like and a solution to what they do not like, now there's a delta. Now they're saying, hey, this is not amazing here, but this sounds like it might be, right? Okay, and so here's what I want them to voice. I want them to voice that they're not making enough money and that they're not controlling their time. That's what I would like them to voice. And so if they're like, well, I don't really know, I might ask them, are you happy with the money you're making right now? Are you happy with your work-life balance? Do you feel like you have enough time to do the things you want to do? I want to get them verbalizing the complaints. I want to get them stirring and ruminating on that, right? I've got to disturb that prospect a little bit to get them to be open to the solution. See, they didn't think they had a problem 15 minutes before they met you. I want them to know now that they have a problem. Okay, so that's question 1A, 1B. What do you love about what you're doing now? What would you change if you could? What would you want to have different if you could? Okay, here's the second question. You ready? If time and money weren't an issue, what would you be doing more of in your life right now? If time and money weren't an issue, what would you be doing more of in your life right now? And again, I want them to dream a little bit. I want to talk about all the things they want to be doing that they're not. What's happening? Dissatisfaction, dissatisfaction, dissatisfaction. See, if there's not a problem, there's no market for the solution. I want them to verbalize that problem. And here's what they're going to say. They're going to tell me that they're not spending time with their family. They're not traveling. They don't have the freedom that they'd like to have. And so here's question 2B. So what would you be doing with your life if time and money weren't an issue? Question 2B is this: why aren't you able to do more of those things right now? And I want to get them to verbalize that they don't have the time and they don't have the money. See, when you're recruiting people to a business opportunity, you are offering people two things that everybody wants. I don't care how much money they're making or what they do now. Everybody you're talking to wants to make more money than they're making now. And they would like to have more control of their time than they have right now. All people. And so I need to get them to realize that they're not living the life they want because they don't have the time and they don't have the money. Now they are open to a solution that provides them more time and more money. Until we get them to do that, we're giving them information and hoping that they're motivated to do something about it. That's a very small percentage of the population, but everybody wants more time and more money. And if they can verbalize, when they say it, it's 100% true. When you say it, they doubt every word. When they say it, they're expressing that need. So in other words, it sounds like having more time and more money would help you live a more fulfilling life. Is that what I'm hearing you say? Okay, so I'm assuming you'd be open to looking at an opportunity to do that. Am I correct there? Well, yes. Okay, perfect. They just told you the need, and now you're going to fill the need. It makes recruiting so easy. Guys, listen, my recruiting presentation was 10 minutes long, and it wasn't even a presentation. It was a conversation. I showed them nothing. I asked them a series of questions. There's actually 6 more questions that I asked them. At the end of that, the number one question I got from those prospects was, how do I start? Okay, so listen, I'm going to teach you August 6th, totally free. Just hit that QR code right on the screen. Okay, August 6th, totally free. I'm going to teach you the exact 10-minute presentation. I'm going to teach you how we prospected these people, how we set appointments with them, the exact presentation we used, how we overcame objections with them, and how we onboarded them to get them to grow quickly. Totally free. It's a freebie. The training is free. Okay, but it will sell out. We can only put a couple of thousand people on this. Okay, so get registered now. Share it with your teams. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.